TikTok. So most of my research is on TikTok disinformation and misinformation and how it spreads there. This is just some of the recent research that I published, which was about COVID misinfo and vaccine misinfo on TikTok. And you can see just how viral these things are going, where even in just like 18 videos that we analyzed, they had over 57 million views. A lot of them are conspiracy theories. Some are just normal misinformation, but they all kind of blend together and feed into each other. So these two that you have here, you have plans or predictions, and it was like a fake list of when all of the new variants are going to be released. And then over on the right side, you have recycled InfoWars content, which we see all the time. Kind of an old conspiracy about FEMA camps being set up to house the vaccinated and essentially like depopulation kind of conspiracy theories. And they are going viral, like absolutely viral. Because they're being pushed by an algorithm. And on TikTok, what makes it different from other apps is that you don't need somebody that you follow to have shared this. You don't need it to have been shared by a friend, right? So it's not like Twitter or Facebook in that sense, or Instagram, right? You don't have to actually follow anyone to be fed any of this information. You just have to, like, it just has to be fed to you. Like if other people watched it, it'll likely be fed to you based on what they think you'll like. So you don't really have that much control either. There's nothing to click on and decide that you want to go engage with this. It's just fed to you. A lot of the work that I do is about debunking and then also inoculation. So this is just an example of a really successful debunk, which was Nazi mythology about Hyperborea, which is kind of some Aryan mythology, but we don't need to get into. And the original video got 6.5 million views. And my very successful debunk got 1.1 million views. And this is best case scenario. Like this is really, really good. Everybody should be happy with it. And I did not even get like 1/6 of the traction that the original disinformation had. What happens more often is numbers like this. This is my good friend Jess, who runs the account Bloodbath and Beyond, where she is debunking usually like sex trafficking panic sorts of conspiracy theories. So this was one about getting a wrong number, and that if you get this text from a wrong number, you're actually being sex trafficked. And this obviously like slides into QAnon, it slides into Pizzagate, lots of existing kind of often anti-Semitic conspiracy theories come out of this. And on TikTok, this is an accepted truth. Like I always have to like repeat myself when it comes to TikTok with this. People don't necessarily understand, but just the fact that there is an elite group that is sex trafficking children and grooming them, and sex trafficking is something you always have to be out on the lookout for, is just an accepted truth on TikTok, regardless of the fact that is not reflection of reality. So more often the numbers look like this, where the conspiracy theory is getting 2 million views and creators are trying to debunk it, and it just doesn't do that well. And on top of that, this burden of education is falling on unpaid creators who are just so mad at the state of the world that they're doing this for free. And they are often vulnerable, right? It's often Black creators who have to go address white supremacy. It's often Jewish creators who have to go address anti-Semitism. It's often sex workers who have to go address sex trafficking misinformation. It's people who are then vulnerable to excessive amounts of harassment, who have to go do this education and it's not as successful as the original misinformation. So it really is a failure of the platforms that creators are stepping up to try their best to address. But it's frankly quite risky for them as somebody who's been on the end of that harassment as like a queer Jewish creator. Like it is a risk to put yourself online and try and debunk these types of misinformation, because you will be taken down by anybody from like an individual to like, I've had like, you know, far right think tanks trying to come after me, or like big, you know, far right thought leaders. Again, when it comes to the atmosphere of TikTok, I just can't stress enough how mainstream conspiracy theories are. So this is just one account. It's a little overwhelming to look at, and I don't mean to like highlight this creator as like especially bad or worse than anybody else. It's just a really good example of somebody who has made their entire career and is profiting at this point off of conspiracy theories, especially often as like, oh, we're just, you know, just thinking about the idea, and it goes viral regularly. You're going to see like most of these have well over 1 million views, and some of them are pretty harmless. Some of them aren't great though, right? Like Hollow Earth is not a safe conspiracy theory. He has some satanic mentions. Then you also have kind of like sea monsters, which isn't as bad. So it's kind of camouflaged. There's hate camouflaged into more harmless, kind of silly conspiracy theories. And again, not against this particular creator. This is just so common and so viral amongst the young people. Then I'll just close out with this. Conspiracy talk is a side of TikTok that, as you can see, the hashtag alone. So this is just people who put this hashtag on their videos has 1.1 billion views. It's absolutely a part of the culture of young people on that app to partake in conspiracy theories as kind of a form of escapism. I think that they are stressed, living in a global pandemic, the rise of climate change, you know, very real inequality, and they turn to conspiracy theories. And then, you know, in response, creators are the ones who have to then address them. And platforms really do have the responsibility here, both to their users who they're failing when these sorts of things go viral, and then to society at large, because this doesn't stay on TikTok either, right? These carry out into very real democratic processes, and who gets vaccinated, trust in science. The creators who are out there putting out high quality information are doing it at the moment entirely for free, and they are often vulnerable, and they genuinely need support to continue doing that, and they need protection, because it is a high risk position to put yourself in if you're going to go out there and counter that information. And the other thing would be like putting pressure on the corporations who are funding this. So if you are an advertiser and you are putting ads on TikTok, are you comfortable with those advertisements like running in between conspiracy theories? You know, if it's like a Wayfair conspiracy that's anti-Semitic, and then it's your ad, and then it's that you shouldn't get vaccinated, are you comfortable being, you know, funding that? And that's a question that I encourage most companies to ask themselves, and because I think that there is genuine pressure to be put there.